secret to growing your business isn't doing more, it's aligning your work with your soul's true purpose. In this episode, we'll dive into how to build a heart centered business that feels spacious, aligned, and deeply fulfilling without burnout or hustle. Hi, and welcome to the You World Order Showcase podcast, where we feature life health transformational coaches and spiritual entrepreneurs stepping up to be the change they seek in the world. I'm your host, Jill Hart, the Coach's Alchemist, on a mission to help entrepreneurs and coaches amplify their voice, monetize their mission, and get visible. If you're ready to start attracting premium clients without chasing algorithms or hunting people down like a banshee on a mission, head on over to coachesalchemist.com and schedule your free client acquisition audit. It's the first step to building a business where your clients seek you out rather than you having to hunt them down. Today, we are chatting with Celeste Frenette. Celeste is a speaker, author, and soulful business mentor who helps entrepreneurs build sustainable, heart-centered businesses without burnout. A former nurse and naturopathic doctor, she now teaches how to blend strategy with soul, build authentic visibility, and create businesses that feel as good as they look. Celeste is the author of the best-selling book, A Season of Spaciousness, and the upcoming My Soft Era journal. Her talks and teaching center on self-trust, intuition, and redefining success with gentleness and integrity. Welcome to the show, Celeste. It's wonderful to have you with us today.
Thank you so much, Jill. I'm really happy to be here.
I love the name of your book. It just
Mm.
feels like a yummy space. I like spaciousness and taking space in our lives to be able to really focus on what we're doing here and to have the experience that we're here to have. I just wanted to get that out.
Mhm. So I,
Let me ask you the big question. What's the most significant thing, in your opinion, as individuals we can do to make an impact on how the world is going?
in my opinion, it's being as ourselves as we can be. So I believe that each of us is born with innate gifts, with innate wisdom, skills, things that we're meant to pour out into the world. And so often from a very young age, we're taught to suppress the things we love, to focus on the things that others around us say are practical or make sense on paper to them. And so it's, I feel, a small percentage of people who actually listen to that voice inside and say, no, I'm going to do what I feel. And very often we build a life that looks like what somebody else wanted for us and realize we've lost ourselves in it. And then later on in life, come back to what makes us come alive, which is what pours this positive, nourishing, healing energy into the world.
Yes. And I'm so excited that now is the time when people are actually slowing down enough, which goes back to the making space in your life so you can decide what feels right to you and where you really should be going rather than just being pushed along by the current that is the world that we live in. You've got parents and teachers and uh, friends, because we get into friend groups that push us in a direction. You were once a nurse and a naturopathic doctor. I mean, those are things that are like strong currents that you get into and you're just moved along this path. So what made you step out of that stream into something different? Or is it different?
You know, it I would say it's a different way of working in a similar field. And so as a nurse, I was working in palliative care. And I felt very much that if you imagine downstream treatment being after everything's happened, then there's not necessarily a lot of movability, versus upstream looking at prevention and looking at let's tune into ourselves now before our body starts to let us know that it's unhappy, before our body starts to get really loud with physical symptoms. And it just inspired me to want to work a little bit more upstream, as just feeling like that was where I was called to be.
So how does that play into what you're doing now? And do you want to explain how you help people
Yeah.
as a
So,
coach?
yeah. So when I was a nurse, I remember I was working in palliative care with a lot of people at the very end of their lives and just feeling like I wanted to be able to offer more. And, as a nurse in the medical system, you're very rushed in terms of how much care you can offer each person. And I just wanted to be able to hear people's stories, connect with them deeper, offer something extra beyond my nursing scope of practice. And so that's what led me to naturopathic medicine. And I thought that that's where I'd stay. And what happened is I noticed people coming into my practice and they had seen everybody and tried everything, and nothing was moving. Nothing was shifting those physical things or the mental, emotional things that they had felt really burdened by for years and years. And I would ask them question that they had never been asked before, which is, what's your dream? And people would start to come alive, and there would be this life in their eyes and this spark and this energy as they start to pour it all out. And then at the end of it, they'd be like, nobody's ever asked me that before. And that just planted a seed that helped them to remember who they are, what they love, what they really want, what brings them joy. And they would start to take little step after little step in that direction. And I noticed that physical things began to heal. And I thought, this is where I want to be. This is where I want to be doing my work every day because I love this. That's what makes me come alive.
Love that. And it's so true. So often we go through life and nobody ever bothers to say, what do you want to do? Not, telling you what you're going to do. I think as parents, I have lots of kids, and it was it was something that happened to me when I was growing up. My parents would ask me, what do you want to do? And I would say things like, I want to just be a bum and travel the world. And they
Mm,
would tell me, no, you can't do that. Or I want to get married and have a lot of kids. My mother didn't ever really want to have kids. And then she had three girls and she wanted boys. And it was just like, she never
mm,
got what she felt she wanted in life. And so she was really dead set on making sure that this didn't happen to us.
mm.
But that wasn't her life. I mean, she had her life to live, and your kids have their own lives to live. And our job as parents is more to, and coaches, because these really do kind of equate, is to help them peel back the layers to what they do want, and recognize that all things exist and all possibilities exist. So
Yeah. It really helps to have somebody who believes it's possible along with you. Because I think even if our parents have a different idea of where they think we should go or what they think we should do or how we should
mhm.
go about it, they may not even have the capacity to vision that as something that could be done because they can't consider it for themselves.
Mhm. Exactly. I have one son that he's an amazing auto mechanic.
Mm.
I want my car to work when I turn the key on. That's all I care about. But this man, he's a man now. He just can look at things and see how they go together, and it's just like it's an amazing gift. And he works in a field where people value this gift that he has. And so he's able to be who he was made to be. But
Mm.
I could never envision that for him because like not my ball of wax.
No, but I'm sure if he shared it with you, you'd be like, yeah, you can do that.
And I did. He would tell me what he's doing and it's like, yeah, go get it.
Yes.
I'm standing by waiting to see what happens. I'm excited for you.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
It is fun. So, how do you work with people? Is it one-on-one? Is it groups?
Mostly now through group programs. I've really cut my one on one practice back a lot as I've expanded into doing things that can just help more people in a different amount of time. But I do work a little bit one on one. I take on a few clients every quarter.
Mm.
And yeah,
So, you talk a lot about doing what's most aligned instead of doing more. What does that actually look like in day-to-day business decisions?
yeah. So for me, if you imagine, for example, growing a business in the online space, you'll have thousands of people out there telling you you need to focus on this type of funnel, you need to focus on your email list, you need to focus on YouTube, you need to focus on Instagram, and it's so noisy. right? And you'll have some type of internal sense of where you feel drawn or what feels like the most important thing to you. And you can build a 6 or 7 figure business without ever having certain ones of those. You might never be on YouTube, you might never be on Instagram, but you're going to go where you feel called and where you feel like your presence is needed. And so my work is in supporting people to hear what it is that they feel of all of this, to discern, okay, of all of this information, which one is the right fit for me? Because everybody takes a different pathway to get where it is that they want to go.
That is so profound. There's so many ways to reach your ideal clients, and your ideal clients are ideal because they're perfect for you and what you're doing. Not everybody is called to work with everybody, and that's a beautiful thing. But your people congregate in certain spaces. And if you're trying to do all the things because some coach or guru told you, you need to be everywhere all the time, shouting from the loudest thing, then you're not being authentic to yourself. And your people aren't going to hear you because they're going to be like, no, I don't want to be over there.
Mhm.
So they don't
Yeah.
find you.
Yeah. So just trusting yourself and believing that that connects with those opportunities, that connects to that community being built wherever it is that you feel you need to go, or even in terms of the steps that you're taking in a business. Which digital product do you make? Well, which one excites you the most? Which one do you have the most energy behind? And start there, because that's what people are going to feel.
Yeah. And providing what people want, not what you think they need, which is something that I've discovered in my life, because
Yeah.
people want what they want,
Yeah.
and they usually want results. They don't want the program you're offering. They want the result that you're promising, and
That's
and being able to share that in a way that they can identify with it, which is, it's so easy to say that, but when it comes into the practical application, it's really helpful to have somebody standing with you saying, maybe tweak it a little more this way, or that's great. I totally feel that. And, it's just like, instead of standing there by yourself going, I hope this works.
Yeah, absolutely.
Happens,
Yeah.
happens a lot. And I think that's what really helps with communities. I know you're doing group coaching, but group coaching insinuates that you're having a group of people come together so they can help and support each other, as well as getting advice and coaching from you in terms of, maybe you've tried this, but maybe somebody else in your group has tried something that's worked or hasn't worked, and they can share their experience. I just, I find it so empowering to
Yeah,
be in community with other people.
absolutely. I feel like everybody is amplified, right? Because we all bring all of our experiences to the table.
And you have a program called the Soulful Entrepreneur Incubator. And I love it because incubating is like, it's that the final cooking process for something to like burst into life and be self-sustainable. They just need a little bit of warming and cuddling and just to get them going. It's just like, it's so, your terminology just like really strikes me as yummy. I guess that's the
Oh,
best way to
thank
put
you.
it. So you want to talk a little bit about your incubator program, how
Yeah.
that
So
works?
I started it. It's called Thrive, the Soulful Entrepreneur Incubator. And I started it because what I noticed is that we really help to make each other brave. We have that inside of us, but being around a like-hearted community where you can share what you're working on or what you're working towards, get feedback, know that somebody has your back as you're about to maybe step out in brave new ways, start doing videos for the first time, release a product, release a program, develop different parts of your business. It's really nice to feel like you're not alone in that, because so many of us, especially if we work from home, we tend to be really isolated. And we might be creating and working on things all hours of the day or night on our own, not passing it by anybody else or having that support by anybody else. But for me, as I was growing my business, it was fundamental to me to have community around me and to be able to say I wanted to share a personal or vulnerable story with the world, or a speech or something like that, to be able to share it with a friend first, who, even if I wasn't getting feedback from them, could just bear witness to it and hold space for me. So that, okay, I shared it with you. Now I can share it with the world.
Oh, just so important. And, people look at you. I don't know about you, but I know most of the people in my physical community, they don't know what I do.
Mm.
They just can't relate to like being online, even having a podcast. I mean, I know people really well, but they don't, they don't understand what it is to have a life online. And coaches and entrepreneurs that work online primarily, it's like a whole other aspect of your life. We used to go to offices when I was young, and you would work in your office, and you had an office community that was very separate from your personal community in most cases. And then now we do this online so that there's like people don't really recognize it. I mean, it's like,
Yeah, it's hard to wrap your head around. And I have that conversation with people so often where they're like, wait a minute, what exactly is it that you do?
and they're just not in that space in their life, so they don't really understand. But there are so many of us who are online, and we do need each other. And it's where you and your program come in to help people. There, but that's why I do what I do, is so I can showcase what's available to people in
Mhm.
terms of being online and in community and being able to support one another, even if you're in the same industry doing the same sort of things, or if you're doing something really super different. It's a place where it's not quite a marketplace, but it is a space where it's like, come here, tell people what you're doing. Tell them how you're doing it and who you're doing it for, so that they can they can know that it's available to them.
Yes. Yeah. And so many of the things that people are doing, they're doing now because they saw somebody else and that gave them that spark of possibility of like, oh, maybe I could too.
Yeah, e exactly, and a lot of them have gone through things personally, and they're just like, "I don't want this for anybody else. I don't want anybody. I figured out how to do it in a way that helps has made my life better, and I want to share that with somebody else." And so that they don't have to have that terrible experience that I went through. And just it's just like so many things that are available now that maybe 10 years ago, really not so much. Women's health is a big one. When I went through menopause, I had my mom who was wholly unhelpful about the whole thing because she
Mm.
just didn't know, because people didn't talk about it. But now
Yeah.
women, older women are like, yeah, it sucks in the beginning. You'll figure it out. And it's actually kind of nice in the after you get through the tough part. But these are the things, some of the things you can do to make the transition smoother. That that information probably was available, but it was not to the extent that it is now. And it's kind of like that with coaching. It's like, there's people around to help you make the next step, or share what you're doing, and help you refine it so that it looks like it's gonna have the intended outcome.
Yeah, absolutely. It's such a gift, the online world, in that way, because I feel it really helps to unshame things in a lot of different areas of life where previously you may have felt very alone. Now there are people who are going through the same thing who are giving voice to it. They're saying, oh, for example, here is something that I'm experiencing in perimenopause or postmenopause. And you realize, oh, that's from that. I didn't even know. I just thought this was a weird thing I was experiencing, but now I have context and I understand there are other people going through this too with all kinds of things. It feels that way. And certainly as an entrepreneur too, as you see other people doing it, you realize I'm not alone. There's a whole community of people out there.
Yeah, and it bridges the gap between online and offline. There are a lot of businesses that are still brick and mortar that they they need support too to to come and have more of a presence online because it opens up doors that might have been a barrier in the past. I want to turn this around just a little bit in terms of helping people find their purpose. Do you help people with that too?
I do. Yeah, for me, I really believe that our purpose is to be as ourselves as we can be. That if that is all that we do in this life, we've accomplished our purpose. So that's just really being honest with yourself about who am I? What do I love? What makes me come alive? What feels expansive? What really ignites that flame inside of me? And how can I be true to that and choose that every day and build a life around that instead of trying to fit that into a big life that we've built that excludes that.
Love that. And so in your community, do you have resources to help people figure that out? I mean, who are your ideal clients and how would they know that they're like the perfect fit for you?
So my ideal clients tend to be soulful or spiritual entrepreneurs. Some of them will have a holistic background or just have a passion for things that relate to that world. Because I was a naturopath, I tend to attract a lot of registered nurses, medical practitioners, but also Reiki practitioners, spiritually minded people, authors, artists, people
Mhm.
in the creative realm. And what was your other question?
How do they how do they know where to like move into what to your incubator, say? Um, like would they would they come to you if they're like just like multi-passionate and they've got all these ideas and they have a general idea of maybe I could make money with this? Is that the entry point, or are you more interested in working with people who already know where they're going, but just need technical advice?
Oh, I would say there's some diversity there, which I love because it creates more of a robust community. So there are some people who maybe they've been in corporate for 20 years and they just have suppressed parts of themselves, but they know they want to do something. Maybe they want to be a coach or a mentor. Maybe they want to support people um, around energy healing or things like that, gifts that they have that they've pursued on the side, hobbies that
Mhm.
they've done that they pursued on the side. Maybe they've been an artist all of these years, but they never thought that they could actually put their art into the world and build a life around that. So some of the people are those people who are now coming back, or maybe after being a mom and raising kids, you're coming back to who you are and what you love. And others have businesses out there. Maybe they're already practitioners, maybe they're already doing well in their business, but they feel like they don't have time for the life that they really want to live outside of that. So now it's looking at how can you streamline and how can you, for example, move from exclusively one-on-one work to now offering group programs or creating digital products that are going to be able to help people from all over the world, even when you're sleeping. So people
I love that.
find me through that. A lot of the work that I do in sharing online on my various platforms. And I used to be, before my daughter was born, I was very active online and on Facebook. Facebook is actually how I built my business when I was starting. And it's been 6 years since she was born now. And I found I've moved more into Instagram and more into YouTube and other platforms. But people find me through videos I do there. And in the Soulful Entrepreneur Incubator, I have something called the Soulful Business School, which helps people to really refine what it is that they want. So, for those people, you can kind of pop in at any point in the program, depending on what you need. So for those people who are just at the beginning of, what do I even want to do? Then there's workbooks and videos and tutorials to help guide them through reconnecting to themselves. And for the people who are like, no, no, I've got it. How do I streamline this and move into group programs so that I have more time for my family, so that I have more time to travel or to paint or to do whatever it is that I want to do in that other time? Then there's support for that.
Love that. I love that. And how do people find you and get into your program?
So usually it's word of mouth, or they've seen my video on a particular platform and then they reach out. But through my website, celestefrenette.com, they can access all of the different programs that I offer, and the Incubator is one of them.
Awesome. I really appreciate you joining me today, Celeste. This has been an awesome conversation.
Thank you so much, Jill. It's been a pleasure being here.
To learn more about Celeste and to join her Soulful Entrepreneur Incubator, please visit celestefrenette.com/thrive, and we'll be sure to put that link in the show notes below. Thanks for tuning in today to the U World Order Showcase podcast. If you're ready to amplify your voice, monetize your mission, and start attracting premium clients, your next step is simple. Head to coachesalchemist.com and schedule your free client acquisition audit. Be sure to join us for our next episode as we share what others are doing to raise the global frequency. And remember, change begins with you. You have all the power to change the world. Start today and get visible.